All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Wednesday morning, might I say. I'm so used to doing the afternoon meetings. I'm tagging in for Fausto this morning. He's just caught up in a business meeting himself, but great to see all of our students and members alike inside our live trading room this Wednesday morning. Bill, Brian, Ray, got Richard, Brad, Michael. Where are the ladies at here? Got Margaret joining us here. I saw Leda just before, had Luis just joining us as well. Wendy, I saw earlier. So great to have all of us. Great to have all of us here, and great to have all of us back on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. That being, as always, at cybertradingu. Just on the bottom left, if you're not followed or subscribed to any of our social media streams or platforms, namely YouTube, that's really kind of our host or hub for all of our recordings, all of our streams live each and every weekday. So at cybertradingu, but man, we have a lot to talk about this morning. So, we'll start with what's on the screen here. Vanny, VA, and I ended up making a pretty good pop shortly after 8 o'clock. I know that Rich had called it out just with the news that came out, but it took a while for this to get going. One of our students, Alex, was actually on the punch right when it started to break out heading into 8:30. So the news that came out at 8 o'clock this morning, Rich was on top of that. VANI looks like a pharma stock, a bunch of words I honestly can't pronounce. Some drug in regards to a miniature subdermal implant in development for chronic weight management designed to guarantee medication adherence, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so with that said, it's not that we trade the news, we trade the reaction off the news. So really, initially, this thing was just garbage. It was a pop and drop, went nowhere, right? But thankfully, we all are kind of scanning around ourselves, our students, myself, Rich, all throughout the morning. And with that, one of our students, Alex Poe, is like saying it like right at 8:30, 8:33, said VANI making a push. And it's that type of call out right there that I love to see because, it was very timely and no one else was talking about it beforehand. Rich posted the news at 8 o'clock, but 32 minutes later, well, he was right on cue with that breakout, led to a phenomenal pop. I ended up jumping in right off of 250. So I missed the initial leg here. I thought, oh, maybe there's a chance it could pop and drop again. So I held off on the initial run. I wasn't just jumping in, but it ended up breaking higher, broke above resistance at 250. I have been long out of this trade since. I took about 42, 43 cents on it, got out under 3, and then I actually got in again, scalped from 350, but only got like 8 or 9 cents on that. It was chopping around a bit. So I didn't want to stay in this trade as I was doing this meeting. It's already up 305% now at this point, and perhaps even more. The thing on this trade that I was hopeful to see, it's already probably there now. Let me just double check on the chart here. Maybe it's a different trade. No, it is this. Yeah, right here. So it's well above it actually at this point, right at like 350-ish. You had some good daily chart, weekly chart support dating back to 2022. And then, well, after that, really not a whole lot more to work with. It's just a lot of data, but not as much a consistent level. Looks like here maybe, but that's not up until what, like $14. So that's pretty far away, obviously. We're not even thinking about that price yet. So, hey, as of right now, we'll check in on Bookmap. We'll check in on the heat map that we got here at least. I would assume resistance to be at 5. Wow, goes to show there isn't even as much volume out there. I still would assume resistance to be at 5 because that's more of a psychological level, half-decade level number at this point. So, even without there being much of an order showing there, only about 4,000 shares, I still would respect that as resistance on the initial touch. There's been a pretty good ladder on this trade the whole way through, though. So really beginning from here after 9 o'clock at 342. It popped up briefly later on here, what appears to be 410, 411 price. Then a lot further more here around 435, 430-ish. Look what just happened. Came right up towards 5. Hit a high of like 498 to be exact. Little shake to begin, and a new iceberg on the buy side. So that's that ladder that Fausto and I always talk about in our main curriculum, our classes. Actually, a little housekeeping note, keep in mind for all of our gold students and above, we have the phase 1 stock course actually beginning today on a Wednesday, nonetheless. Normally begin on a Monday, but obviously I was out Monday this past Friday, so just going to begin phase 1 today, Wednesday. That was sent out through email, even dating back from Sunday this past week. So, just for all of our gold, platinum, diamond students, we'll talk a lot more about these concepts, these subtopics like iceberg orders, and namely here a ladder. We'll look to see if this 450 ends up holding, or we'll see if this was the top. All right. So either way, we're going to put VANI on our watch list to start. All right. That's an easy one just to begin with. All right. Quick question. Anyone here trade Bitcoin? Anyone here own Bitcoin? If you're on social media right now, give me a quick chat back as well. If you're in our trading room, just give me a quick chat too. Let me know, folks. Do you own Bitcoin? And if you don't, what have you been waiting for this whole time? And I'm not just saying since the lows here because I was pessimistic myself here at this point. I was looking for more. I wanted to see a drop down to like 11, 12,000, then the push. Ended up getting like 15, 16, but I was thinking long term. Obviously, I'm looking for buying scenarios over time the more we continue to see higher lows and higher highs. So namely here, this is what I'm going to mention. It was really dating back to like, last month, really right here as it had pulled back. You can go back. I'll rip it myself. I'll pull back Traders Talk recordings, afternoon meetings, you name it. Mentioning 39.5, 39.5, 39.5. It broke a little under that, obviously. Well, a little under and over. And here we are now at 60K and above. So, folks, hey, I mean, obviously we're going to see some pullbacks over time, but we are really close to all-time highs. And, there's a lot more that we can go into with Bitcoin and all that. You don't need to own crypto or Bitcoin to be involved with this. Obviously, Mara, Riot, CLSK, Coinbase, of course. All of those companies are going to be influenced by this general move here with Bitcoin. All right, you got the ETFs too. We don't really trade the ETFs here at CTU, but wow, look at this. This Vanny trade already over 5 at this point, so it looks like it's still going to try and push that ladder and reigning supreme for right now. Let's see action to go back at least on VANI. Holy smokes, this thing. All right, so it pushed up even further, more up to 560. It did just break through the buy order right here, though, so little slingshot to begin, but this is where you got to be really careful. If we keep seeing lower lows from this point, it's going to crash bad. Really strong play to begin on Vanny. There's going to be others out there too, so I don't really care as much about leaving money on the table as long as you're able to get a good piece of the pie from earlier. We'd call this out off 250. So, 42, 43 cents for me. I'm still very grateful for that nevertheless. But yeah, obviously a huge runner right now on VANI. But to get back to crypto, to get back to Bitcoin really briefly again, Mara, we've been following this forever, right? They have earnings this afternoon. So I normally wouldn't focus on a company pre-earnings when there's earnings coming out just that same day or the following morning. I really don't do that. I more so just kind of follow the reaction after. But I'm going to give this an exception. We're going to add Mara to our watch list. It's up 8% already. That's kind of my selling point there. It's still near the highs. It looks very choppy right now, the last 20, 30, 40 minutes here. But between Mara, between CLSK, I'm going to add both of those to our watch list once again. Coinbase, of course, too. Can't add every crypto stock out there, and that's something that we've been talking about for quite a bit here. We can't just trade every single one. Not every one is going to have as much or equal hype. So there are others. We'll just rip through them right now just to kind of cherry pick the best and see. CIFR, and Canon, you got Hut. It's up 7+%. This one doesn't look too bad. Actually, we'll come back to this one at the end if we need to here. Hive, not really looking that great. BKKT, that's done. That's a bad one. Jeez. BTBT, not terrible. A little cheap for my liking here. For these crypto stocks, I want them to kind of be around like $5, $7, $10 at least. So Irene, this has actually been one of recent that we've been following. I'll come back to Hut. I'll come back to Irene at least and see if those are looking better by the end of this meeting. But Mara, CleanSpark, Coinbase, those are kind of our main 3 horses in that crypto race here with the miners and obviously Coinbase is the main exchange. All right, so top to bottom we go. We already got our big runner here. Thing is still going, I think. Topped off at what price is this? 662. All right, well, again, I don't mind just getting out early because the last thing I want to be a part of is being on the top of the roller coaster, looking on the way down. So going into the open, I would say, if anything, typically 9:10, 9:15 is the absolute latest I hold pre-market trades. So in terms of that cyber clock, that would be your kind of like last stop here. I would look to definitely get out at least by 9:10, 9:15 the time. All right, so what else we got here? IXHL. This thing popped and dropped earlier. I didn't even realize that. Looks like a relatively new IPO dating back to late last year. Pretty good pop, I gotta say, from like 550-ish up to over 12. I like the range. I really do. Just I'm not really too familiar with the stock, and it has a pretty bad order book for right now. So if I'm comparing apples to apples here, Beyond Meat also had a pretty good pop overnight, pretty good range, like similar. This, I believe, will be a lot more liquid by the time the market opens up. I think that a lot more people are more familiar with Beyond Meat, BYND here, as a company, as a stock, whatever you name it. But I mean, hey, again, hey, to any of my meat lovers out there, I'm with you. Come on. I'm a red meat guy through and through. I wrote that in the trading room just earlier. And I have to say that because there might be a lot of us that look at like Beyond Meat like, ew, I don't like this company. I'm not going to buy it. Well, yeah, the product personally, hey, to each their own. So I hope I don't offend, if anything. But yeah, I'm a red meat guy through and through. But that's not going to sway me away from Beyond Meat making a 60% move at this point in the morning. It was up over 100% overnight at one point when it hit its peak. I'm going to absolutely trade this. It's on the top of my personal watch list, at least between this and I guess now Vanny, VANI. So, Beyond Meat, I'm definitely going to put on our watch list here. Looking good. I think that was an earnings play, just for those looking to find out on news with that. Now, as we keep going, Bit Brothers. I don't know if this is a Bitcoin stock. BETS, Bets is the name. So I figure like gambling, but in the watermark is Bit Brothers. Maybe like Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't even care to check. It's up a lot today. It's very choppy though right now. So I'll kind of put it on our list in hopes of this trying to make another big pop, but it doesn't really look as good compared to the others. APLT, I was hopeful to see a breakout on this trade earlier, right off of 870, and it just held resistance pretty well, like right after I started looking at it. So I was like really kind of, I was like really getting ready to try and take the entry here, the breakout, and just held under resistance, drop. That's it. So maybe we'll come back to this later on. I'm not going to add it to our list for right now, though. All right. Little housekeeping note otherwise on YouTube, social media right now, once again at cybertradingu. Just we have Fausto at 12 o'clock today, I believe, with an introductory to day trading webinar. So again, that will be simulcast across the board, but make sure to follow us, if anything, on all of our social media streams at cybertradingu as we keep going. TGTX, a little pop right now, actually. 1350 up to 16. Actually, you know what? I don't want to discount that. That's a pretty solid move already. So what's the news out on this company, TGTX? Just taking a look at Benzinga Pro here on my other screen. Earnings, that's as simple as that. Earnings better than expected Q4. So you know what? We're actually familiar with this company. It'll be more of like a level 3, category 3 and above stock, meaning that you're going to expect to see a more thin book here by the time the market opens and after. It's not going to really fill in as much. That's my expectation, at least there. But, coming off news, good pop right now. Definitely add it. Oh, another Bitcoin stock, of course. This one's just super expensive. So MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's got to be a happy camper with Bitcoin hitting 60K plus, right? All right. So what else we got here otherwise? Anything within our price range looking good otherwise here? IAS on the way down. It is shortable. It is shortable. Not breaking all-time lows, but for a short, really, I'd rather have a more liquid order book. If I'm going to take the risk of a more thin, illiquid book, it would be for something moving up. I really don't have much skin in the game for a stock that has just like a 10-cent, 15-cent spread and dropping. Rather be something, a lot more filled in. Triple D here, not too bad. It's breaking lower, 3D system. It is shortable for me on TradeStation. I'm sure the order book actually will fill in a bit on this. I could add this to our main list. Keep it on the side. See if there's anything better. And just kind of skimming through here. Not a whole lot that looks within our price range and has a lot of volume. Looking at Bumble here. ABSI. All right, I'll tell you what, folks, not a whole lot like on the way down either way. I mean, the markets have been so strong on the way up. So, of course, we've already had about like 7 or 8 stocks on our watch list here so far. We'll go back to the other 2 crypto miners that we had, like Hut and Irene. But last call, let me know if there's anything else looking good. From Warren. Warren, great to see you back on YouTube, but normally inside our live trading room. Oh, Warren, there we go, in on Bitcoin right now. So he's a happy camper right there. Use the money to buy a burger. Well, hopefully a couple burgers, Warren. Hopefully a nice luxurious dinner, if anything, right? But nevertheless, folks, if there's any other stocks right now, up, down, left, right, definitely type it in. Let me know. Michael's saying LMND took a hit. Yeah, that goes back to my sentiment. I'm not trying to really trade a stock on a 10-cent spread down big. Just kind of a distraction there. Going back to Hut, going back to Irene, I could add them to our list, right? And if you are interested in the crypto stocks yourself, then you personally put them on your watch list because honestly, it's very low risk or zero risk to do that. Both are 100% tradable, but as far as opportunity cost, most volatile stocks that we could work with. I like what we got here to begin with. So, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, just on the top left of the stream is a little QR code. If you're fancy with your phone, fancy with your camera, we'll be back later on today. But if you wanted to join us coming up for the next hour, get full commentary all throughout our live trading room in the morning and afternoon, scan that QR code. Warren knows, though, because he's already a student. So, Warren, we look forward to seeing you back inside our live trading room soon. But everyone else, hey, scan that QR code. Join us for a week-long trial. We look forward to seeing you there. But for Michael, Bill, Margaret, Lawrence, and all of us just otherwise, best of luck trading going into the market open. I'll be back on coming up in just about 10, 12, 13 minutes. Take care.